I saw the claw first. Barnacle encrusted, black mucus slicked, as wide as a man's torso. It grasped the starboard railing and ripped it away whole. Then the body, segmented, eel-like, plated with chitin plates and twitching nodules that pulsed with the look of infected wounds.
You are listening to the Fearcast. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
I came back to Saltmere after all those years to bury my uncle, and somehow found myself inheriting more than his old boat, the rusting hulk of it. The Winona still floated, just about, but Saltmere was different. The docks were quieter, the sea colder. I hadn't come with any intention of staying. Saltmere was a location of childhood memories and subdued sorrow, not of tomorrow. But something in me, perhaps wariness, perhaps bad conscience, told me I owed him one more season. I began repairing the boat in the mornings, drinking in the afternoons, and sleeping fitfully at night. In restoring the wheelhouse, I discovered the official lobster license laminated and stamped, but sandwiched behind it in an envelope withered through by damp was something older. A yellowed parchment page, brittle and faded to yellow, stamped with the words, Special Authority, Class M. At the bottom, in the unmistakable crabbed hand of my uncle's old notebooks, were the words, Active, Feed It, or Fight It. At first, I assumed it was a hoax, perhaps something a local fisherman circulated as a joke to scare rookies. But the longer I stared at the seal, a curling emblem set in a skull, the less amusing it appeared. I took it to Harren McVeigh, one of the last remaining old-timers still on the docks. Harren always gave the impression of being a part of the sea itself. Weathered, grizzled, eyes sun and suspicion blanched. He regarded the parchment, and all the color went out of his face. "You should have incinerated it," he said, voice now pinched. He didn't blink when he explained to me about the Class M permit, told me it wasn't issued by the government, not officially, that it was awarded clandestinely, years back, to fishermen who fished in areas around trench boundaries, not to harvest anything, but to contain things that had no business existing on this earth or any other. Harren referred to it as a monster license, and he wasn't using metaphors. I figured it was superstition, some maritime urban myth. But the way Harren spoke of it, as though a man who had witnessed too much and lived too little, irritated me. He described Blue Hollow Trench as being scratched from charts, from radar grids, even sonar maps. They scrubbed it, he grumbled, but the sea doesn't forget. I lay awake that night. I rummaged out my uncle's old logs, searching for verification. The entries began ordinary, dates, catch numbers, gear remarks, but towards the end, the remarks shifted. He began writing in the margins, cramping over the words. Heard the bell again, but no buoy near. Caught something on the net, burned it before touching it. It watches from the hollow. The last entry just said, "Don't let it wake up." I did something stupid. I filled the boat with gas, put a flare gun on board, and headed out to the coordinates hidden in his notes. 10 miles out, the world changed. The wind stopped, the gulls disappeared. The water gained a glassy look, and the sonar quit functioning, just dead space and nothingness. It wasn't peaceful, it was deserted. The water below me was off, like I was moving above a mouth that had just breathed out. And then the sonar popped on, a huge unmoving return, not swimming, not moving, just ascending. The boat lurched, my gut rolled. Something dragged along the bottom of the hull, slow and deliberate, like fingernails on metal. Then I heard it, a growl so low it vibrated my teeth, such as metal warping from pressure, such as something that had dreamed for centuries at last coming awake. I saw the claw first. barnacle encrusted, black mucus slicked, as wide as a man's torso. It grasped the starboard railing and ripped it away whole. Then the body, segmented, eel-like, plated with chitin plates and twitching nodules that pulsed with the look of infected wounds. Its head did not have a mouth, only rows of what appeared to be eyes or gills, or both. Some of them blinked. Others cried clear fluid that hissed when it struck the deck. I attempted to flee, fell over the throttle and hit the floor. The creature slid forward, slow, like it was curious. Like it knew I had nowhere to move. I picked up a harpoon and hurled it at its center mass. The weapon ricocheted off its hide like a stick hurled at stone. It charged, slamming into me with a wet snap of limbs. I could hear ribs shatter as I was tossed against the wheelhouse wall. Crawling through splintered glass and spitting blood, I was able to make it to the drawer behind the captain's chair. My hand closed around the flare gun. I spun, focused the center chest, and fired. The flare burst in a ball of red and white fire, incinerating whatever flesh it came into contact with. The creature screamed, a gurgling, bobbling thing like meat scalded in water. It thrashed about, tearing the deck asunder before hurling itself back into the sea. The impact rocked the ship, and then nothing. No noise, just steam and blood and black sludge that hissed where it accumulated. I spent what seemed like hours lying on the deck. When I limped my way back to Saltmere, the sun had already come up. I moored and fell onto the pier. Locals half-towed me to the clinic, where I gave them a half-truth. Engine failure, accident in transit. They didn't quiz me much. Saltmere never does. The following day, after I was able to walk, I went back to the Winona with every intention of emptying out the cabin, burning the logs, and selling the license. But as I climbed aboard, something was different. The drawer, the one I had jammed shut, was open. The Class M license was there again, and this time the parchment was marked with something new, not blood, not salt water, black sticky residue, still damp, as if it had touched it. That's when I knew it wasn't finished. This wasn't a solo occurrence. It was an assignment, a curse that passed through generations, through silence, through exigency. My uncle hadn't simply fished these waters. He'd watched them, protected them, died for them. And now that task was on me. I reloaded the flare gun, fixed the rail, inspected the engine. I placed a single call to Harren. When he picked up, I remained silent. He got the message. "You're one of us now," he told me softly. "Don't wait for it to show. Watch for signs, listen for the bell, and if it ever speaks, don't listen back." I went out again that night. No bait, no traps, just the whir of the engine, the heaviness of the flare gun, and the cold conviction that something under the surface had turned to look back at me. The sea is older than our charts, our towns, our tales, and below it are things we were never supposed to discover, or worse, things that recall us. Blue Hollow is not uninhabited, it's sealed, and that seal is weakening. There are no medals for this, no front pages, only an open drawer and a never-ending job. There has to be someone keeping the lights burning out there. There has to be someone feeding it or fighting it. And now that person is me.